Welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello, welcome, welcome, hello, hello, welcome. Guys, it's Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just that little bit more. No, that's not a visual representation of your wang, but unfortunately it is. Um, anyway, guys, welcome and hello, hello and welcome. I wanted to talk to you today just about what I'm doing. Unfortunately, I dipped a huge toe in the water over 21 yesterday. I bought everything with everything I had. Today I picked up a few more shares of SoFi, like 518 shares or something. That was just all I had left. I'm over allocated. I'm completely out of dry powder on that one. Thankfully, I was buying SMCX quite heavily as well as SMCI before the ER. Now they pushed it down a bit, so this is kind of what I talk about. That it's more or less the fugazi of if you manipulate the starting line, you can really manipulate the finish. Because if you think, okay, it's going to be a blowout, and the stock's going to be up 12% or 15% either way. Well, if you start out at 27, you still land at 31. Whereas if you started out where it was a few days ago at 30, you kind of get my point. If they push down before what's going to be a good ER, they can kind of bring you back to square one, and you just did nothing but spin around in a circle and pin the tail on the donkey, Mexican standoff, circle jerk situation, sword fight, the whole thing. You guys know how it is. Sorry, I'm very, very tired. It's been just an absolute Gruden grinder of a week so far. Um, what was I going to talk about? I don't even remember. So I'm going to try to figure out how to use this stupid machine. Thank goodness Sean Vaughn has been here. I'm not on mute. But anyway, guys, so I wanted to talk about SoFi. I wanted to talk about SMCI. I want to talk about Microsoft. I would also add in there, I would be buying prop heavily. I'm holding IOVA right now. I'm not adding just because I feel like prop is in a better position in the near term. IOVA, I do love the science, but I feel like their runway is very, very short. So they're going to have to do some type of dilutive money raise. So what I would do if you want to add to your IOVA position or perhaps start an IOVA position is wait till that money raise, wait for the inevitable fall after that. Usually ticks back up, to sort of the level institutions were buying, and then it'll go higher because it's a good company. But just bide your time with IOVA for right now, but I would aggressively accumulate prop at these levels. The dilution is more than priced in, and I don't think it's going to be about as bad as people think. The execution is there. They're getting production online more efficiently than I expected for some relatively inexperienced company taking on the purchase of a company like 5 times their size. So in any case, guys, a big mea culpa. I was wrong. I thought SoFi would never get down to 20. And I know it didn't quite touch 20 today, but I'm not going to split that hair. I was just completely wrong. I thought the high 24s were going to hold support. And I see a ton of accumulation and buying coming in later on. And I don't know what it touched today. It was like 2007 or '05 or something. And so they didn't hit that stop down at 1999. I don't know how big that would have been, but whether that was a conscious choice by the bearers, who are also the bulls, and they're flipping, or they didn't want to create too much liquidity right then, I don't know. It seemed like a good place to cover, but they weren't making much of a market down near 20. It looked pretty forced, but volume was picking up a bit. It's just really hard to figure out, what to make of this chart, because you had a pretty defined, you know, downtrend. Obviously, it was choppy because it kept testing this bottom. But remember, downtrends are defined by the highs, uptrends are defined by the lows. At least that's how I think about it. And then this waterfall of selling after that earnings report, which the more I look at the last three earnings reports by SoFi, the more I just want to buy the company. I want to buy all the shares I can. I feel this company is completely inevitable. Even if you think it's like a dollar overpriced at 25 or 30, or, if you think it's overpriced now, I don't think you're paying attention, because if you look at the analyst models that are generating a lot of these price targets that the street is bandying about, um, market wasn't. No, I know, Shaw. It just seems like the world's always against you, where you're finally, there's finally SoFi really does hit that A earnings, the growth, the million members, the billion, they cross a lot of psychological thresholds. And then at the same time, AI is selling off, tech selling off, software is selling off, fintech selling off, soybeans are selling off, pork bellies, whatever else, fat guys, fat guys are a dime a dozen, BOGO, boho, whatever it is, bring a truck, bring a trailer, get you a bunch of fat guys, preferably you turders. Absolutely useless in the real world. I'm almost to the point where I can get a ridiculous man bun going again, so that'll be nice. Helps that my hairline is receding rapidly. But anyway, guys, so I was wrong. Support up here just completely collapsed. I don't want to use the M word. I don't want to say it's manipulation, but if you look at everybody was saying 20. Kramer saying 20, Bank of America saying 20, Goldman comes in with a downgrade. You've got Midwest Values at 18. Just everybody was just saying, this stock is worth 20. It's going to 20. And newsflash, hotshot, they don't actually want you to buy at 20. They want you to sell low. That's what all these, paid prognosticators are for. Who do you think pays these guys on TV? Who do you think owns all these websites? Retail investors? This isn't the Green Bay Packers, you losers. The fans don't own the team. The same market makers and institutions that are paying to know, what you had for dinner last night, your payment for order flow through your demigod Robinhood. Robinhood is going to keep collapsing, in my opinion. I would not buy this dip. I wouldn't buy a PayPal yet. PayPal is super cheap. I mean, it's like a 7 PE or something, but their earnings are going the wrong way. Growth is going up. And I don't know if this computer guy is the guy to turn it around. Everybody was talking about Alex Chris like he was Bruce Wayne or something. Oh, Alex Chris, Alex Chris. Oh, Alex Chris. Yeah, he's just a guy. SMCI is going, I said it should pop, 20% on that earnings. I also want to give another perspective, which is the bearish perspective, because you should always be, questioning your assumptions whenever you're bullish on a stock and you get, too emotional, too caught up in it. It gets to be like an echo chamber, a thought bubble where you reject, the opinions that don't kind of align with your thesis. And that's a very dangerous thing. You should always think critically, always, question your assumptions, always look at the bear case. And, if you get new information, you get a new thesis, you're leaning a different way. Don't be afraid, to make adjustments. Don't be afraid to take profits or even take losses. It's one thing people are like, well, I'm going to wait till I'm even. If your brain is telling you the stock is going to go much lower and you don't like it, just cut your losses. Listen to your little man. Listen to the angel and the devil on your shoulder, but balance them out and don't always be bullish. It's very dangerous to be a perma bull. You don't take profits. You don't really understand how things work, how things flow, that stocks go up and down. Stocks don't go up in a straight line. And a lot of people are sort of, gloating over the price action on SoFi, sort of these pseudo bears who clearly don't have any position. The only short they're working with is south of the equator, if you know what I mean. Little Mike Gallegos, Glenn Hubbard, double play ball, little Oakland A's, 1980s middle infield. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? There's a lot of Oakland A's fans out there, a lot of Ron Hassey fans. A big Ron Hassey fan. I know you were too. Ricky Henderson. Ricky Reddy. Quote me on that. Anyway, so I think SoFi is, I'm just pounding on the table, fat guy pounding on the table. It's an absurdly strong buy. I think these institutions are just giving you a layup. I think, JP Morgan has their own interests at heart when they're saying 31, but they're not just accumulating shares on a routine basis. They bought 6% of the company. BlackRock's accumulated a nice percentage of the company. Everybody knows where this is going, and that's why they're crashing it, because they want to buy your shares right here. They want to buy your shares at $20.10. They want to buy your shares at 2007. They want to buy your shares at 2025. They want to buy your shares at $21.50. They want to buy your shares at $23, but they don't want to buy your shares at 50. They don't want to buy your shares at 60. They don't want to buy your shares after S&P 500 inclusion. I mean, just logically, why does a stock crash from $32.73 after the earnings pump all the way down to $20.07? I mean, that's a 39% retracement. And if you're a bottom feeder like me, you're a bottom fish, you know, you're a mollusk, you're going to look at this and you're going to understand 40% retracement off of a run, which we've just seen, is sort of a magic number. Now, I've said that a lot of times. You will look for 30 to 40%. Sometimes it can be as painful as 60%. And then we'd be talking about that 14 number that simply Wall Street's been bandying about with their box of bozos, that bandstand of nincompoops. I read the article. They're like, well, if they execute perfectly, the stock could be worth as much as 14. I was like, okay, you're one of those guys. They're like way below Midwest values. So super micro pushing up on just huge volume. We talked yesterday about the beat, the epic nature of the beat at the top and the bottom line. And, the stock is responding at least partially like I thought it would, but it's actually kind of they were trying to algo hold it here where it was, you see how it was setting up their pre-market open, big pop up to almost 35. And then, they tested 33 a couple of times. They were banging it off 33. Didn't want to go down, was making a nice market here at 33.75. The algo started working very, very hard to bring the price down there below 32. And then it went into this, compression pattern right here where the highs and lows just got closer and closer together, making like a little mini wedge that then it kind of broke out of. And, but the algos are still working very, very hard on the stock. This could easily be up 20 or 30% or more today. I mean, on the back of those numbers, you have to look at it like, okay, trading at a market cap right now of 19.5 billion. That's less than half of this year's sales. And it's less than last year's sales. And the balance sheet actually doesn't look that bad. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is to kind of go over this, whatchamacallit, this article on Seeking Alpha, which if you go back to the SMCI page, this is another good article. RA Research, super microcomputer blowout earnings confirm the bullish case, but I've already made that case several times. So I just wanted to point out one thing here that's just such a stupid fugazi point that I keep hearing today, which is, well, there's a concentration risk with SMCI because 60% plus of their revenue this quarter came from one hyperscaler. So that's a valid point. The other valid point, obviously, is the margin pressure that, gross margins have gone from 9.3 just in Q1 and 11.8 in Q2, and then they're all the way down to 6.3% this quarter, and makes the point, Hewlett Packard's gross profits are 30%, Dell's are 20%, Veritiv is 35%, and Supermicro was 9.3, now it's down to 6.3. And basically saying they're just a middleman. They have no pricing power. They're getting squeezed from the top and the bottom by NVIDIA, but they're also doing I think this article, it makes some fair points, and this author, I believe, said she sold her shares at 42 some time ago, and she was, right to do so. And the transportation costs, tariffs, rush fees, all that stuff, shipping hardware all over, UPS read overnight. Now, Uncle Chucky has been remarkably accurate in his, what guidance he gives. And they're saying the data center building block solution will have a 20% plus margin. And what she's saying is, well, that doesn't matter because it only contributes 4% of the overall profit. But it's a brand new product line and people are deploying it. And okay, here's where the argument, I think, verges from I don't like to, throw stones at people because maybe it's an honest opinion, but this seems very disingenuous because you take the concentration risk argument and then you take it to, okay, they have all these accounts receivable, which is bad, but they could sell the receivables. And then you take it to, I'm really curious who that one player is because it's building the capacity for open AI, which I'm very doubtful would be able to pay for the orders it had signed. She's talking about the Stargate. This is a fugazi. The customer is Microsoft Azure. There's a possibility it could be someone else, but it's Microsoft who is paying these invoices. Okay. Microsoft is the number one buyer of NVIDIA processors right now. Um, SMCI has said it's a cloud hyperscaler. That's not what OpenAI is like. Microsoft is the landlord. That's how, SMCI is the builder. It's a whole thing, but there's no way these invoices are going directly to OpenAI, in my opinion, based on what's out there. And there's no way they're not going to pay these receivables. Do you think somebody else is going to build them another data center and another and another and another? The argument that they're just going to get stiffed for their receivables is, I think, just completely ridiculous. But she threw it in there because SMCI is part of this circular financing that OpenAI has created. The risk skyrockets substantially for both for the business as a result of and as a result for the shareholders. That's fucking ridiculous. I mean, this was a good, solidly sourced article, and you should kind of be ashamed of that nugget. But in any case, and you could argue like, okay, if it's Elon Musk, he might challenge you on some of the invoices, but even so, they're going to pay their bills because they need another data center built. So I just think some of these arguments they're throwing in, the no pricing power, the complete dismissal of data center building blocks because it's new. I mean, if you look at Microsoft, they said, they're buying the most 100 processors. They're deploying, the largest cloud hyperscaler. So Azure is the customer. That's what everybody's saying who's serious. It's not OpenAI directly, and OpenAI is not going to stiff SMCI on the 13 billion they're holding in receivables. I think that's just a nonsense argument. Um, on the positive side, management is saying margins are going to expand. We don't know how quickly, we don't know when, but we know what they're guiding for. They're guiding to continue to make money. They sandbag that last number, is like 10, could be 11, you're almost at 13. Now they're guiding for 12.3. You have to think they're sandbagging there. They've learned their lesson in terms of what happens, how the market punishes you when you don't deliver the goods. So I don't know. That's my kind of take on the bearish argument for SMCI. It just comes down to margins. If they're going to be able to, the demand is off the charts. And I understand, but the concentration risk might not be as bad as you think because the customer paying them the 60% of revenue this quarter, it might be a different customer they're completing the data center for paying them next quarter. So maybe they have a rotation of multiple huge customers that they're doing multiple huge projects for. That's what I would suspect. So just the projects are so big that you recognize this giant chunk of revenue at one time. I mean, it's awkward. It could be problematic on a quarter over quarter basis because you could have some major volatility and fluctuations. But at the end of the day, for the health of the business, this is a very, very, very healthy business. Demand is off the charts. They have cash. They have the supply. They've been building out these factories to meet the demand. And Microsoft's demand is absolutely insane. That's why that's why, that draws me in, why I don't understand, the sell off to this degree in Microsoft. So with Supermicro, I think you've definitely seen bottom. With SoFi, I can't imagine this going back to 14, which is the next area of support I find on the chart. I mean, support was more like 21s, so we've already dipped below that, but market makers can do silly things, but I don't think they're going to take SoFi back to 14 after those two ERs. cutting out 55% of the top of 3273 or whatever the hell it was. So what the hell am I talking about, guys? Microsoft, the last 2 years were monsters. This company is growing all of its business segments. And my contention here is that Microsoft knows how to leverage and monetize their B2B relationships, which are just unparalleled, unmatched. They've been building these up for decades with institutions, universities, governments, every other type of major business and institution that exists on Earth. A lot of that is powered by Microsoft. And Microsoft is able to jam in Copilot. They're able to jam in OpenAI. They're able to jam in their virtual assistant, jam in a tiny wang for good measure. Yeah, that was painful to listen to Bill Gates' ex-wife talking about the Epstein connections. Oof. God, you just hear that just horror in her voice. It's like, don't ask me about this. Like, I'm not the one who has to answer for this shit. But she seemed to know something was very, very wrong. I mean, I think a lot of these guys too. Elon Musk, writing Jeffrey Epstein an email, he tries to dismiss it, but he's like, I want to go to your wildest party on the island. Like, he didn't know what that meant. He didn't know his reputation in 2012, 2013. That was after he pleaded guilty to, whatever BS charge he pleaded guilty to in state court. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to, I know there's no criminal culpability for these people at this point. But if you're telling me I don't know what this guy's into and you're that sophisticated and he's like, well, I just don't buy this shit. And they're dragging the Clintons and they should, they should. They absolutely should drag the Clintons. And the Democrats and the Republicans in Congress are saying, you guys have to come in and testify. We're not taking no for an answer. And if Bill Clinton wants to, I thought Bill Clinton was a really good president, really good on the economy, balanced the budget, ran a surplus. I think, overall he was extremely intelligent, but guy's a fucking scumbag, morally, whatever the case may be. He's been accused of sexual assault. He's been accused of outright rape, by somebody that I find to be credible. I'm not saying he did it or not. I wasn't there, but I'm just saying, it crosses party lines. There's a lot of scumbags everywhere. So if you're going to live your whole life as a shady scumbag in your personal life, you have to be prepared to, take the heat. And again, I'm not saying, Elon Musk or Bill Clinton or anybody did anything wrong or criminal or, but I'm just saying these connections are there and they're very, very troubling. And these guys trying to dismiss it as like, well, there's nothing to see here. That remains to be seen. There's never been a real investigation into all that stuff. That Alex Acosta thing where they signed this deal and gave him some like house arrest for a year where he could go out and go to the club and go to his office and probably abuse kids during that actual time he was supposed to be incarcerated. And then the federal government signed this non-persecution agreement that, lawyers, including Dershowitz, arranged. Just like, I mean, how many people are protecting how many freaking child predators, human traffickers, and pedophiles in this fucking country? They seem to be protected from on high. Fucking Kaiser Soze himself. Yeah, I don't mean to get on an Epstein rant, but that shit's just pissing me off. Guy should have been under a fucking jail many, many years ago. But he knew what that motherfucker was up to. Just really pisses me off. I mean, one of the only people telling the truth is like that Marjorie Taylor Greene. A lot of people, blasted her for like the Jewish space lasers. She's making some idiotic comments on Twitter a long time ago. And, I'm not defending those comments, but I think she shows a lot of moral courage, just saying, hey, this is wrong. I stand with the victims of sex trafficking and not the people trying to, cover it up. Oh, Oleg, Neo's doing great. I mean, I don't mean to jump from like Epstein to Neo, but no, Neo's doing, I think they're doing everything they can. You know, will partner cars come? The ES8 demand is through the roof. I mean, the demand is not stopping. It's a very high margin car, you know, and it bodes well for them that that's a huge percentage now of their Neo sales. What I've been saying for years with Neo, too many models, too many SKUs, too much redundancy, too much cost, and they've got a lot of that under control. But there's a reason all these other cars like Tesla just dropped the Model S, the Model X. They basically just make one car. The Model X and the Model Y are the same freaking car. It's the same guts. It's the same everything. It's just a little bit different, you know, body panels, interior, whatever. Hatchback, a hot hatch. I'm so pissed off today. No endorsement for Georgia U.S. Senate seat. What's going on, Scott? There's a little term I like, the wall of worry and the slope of hope, meaning the bigger it goes, the more you should worry, and the more it dips, the more you should buy the dip. I couldn't agree with you more in terms of SoFi. I mean, Super Microcomputer was scary as hell. I mean, I was buying the living hell out of it before earnings, but I was terrified, to be honest with you, because I thought the Wigger might, you know, take all the NVIDIA processors and try to get to a non-extradition treaty country. But again, I don't even know if they should fire the Wigger, because the Wigger is delivering the goods. How's he delivering that much net profit, both adjusted and GAAP, with that little profit margin? The operating discipline, operating margins, just phenomenal. I don't know about hymns. I've never, I looked at it, I dipped the toe, and I've just never got heavily into the point of researching hymns. I don't necessarily like this space because they had that agreement, obviously, where it got, you know, cut down and it came back. But no, I haven't taken a look at hymns in quite a while, to be honest with you, NY Reen. So I would not be able to comment. Sean Vaughn flying his straight flag. Anyway, so the whole point of this video, I'm a strong buy Microsoft. I'm a strong buy SoFi. I mean, I think SoFi is grotesquely undervalued here. I think it's a $37 stock today. If you take the 18 CAGR out of these analyst models and you put in 30, the fair value of the company increases by at least 60%. I mean, get a 2.26 multiplier versus like a 3.78 or something. It's a massive difference when you consider the, you know, those rates of growth compounding over 5 years, 18% versus 30%, even 18% versus 25%. Even if you say the assumption was 20 and that just goes to 25, I mean, they already grew so like 35 last year, which was one of the 5 years those assumptions were based on. This year, they're going to grow 30 plus, and they tell you for the next 3 years, we're going to grow 30 plus. So they've already got the first 4 years covered at 30 plus when these analysts are giving them credit for a CAGR of 18, maybe 20, if they're being charitable. Oh, I think one of my testicles just descended. Or my voice crack. Maybe when my voice stops cracking, my adult acne will go away. Oh, God. Can't stand life. Go over SoFi. Yeah, go over SoFi, but yeah, I do. I mean, guys, if I'd have known, you know, SoFi was going back to 20, I would have sold at 32 and bought back in, and I'd have, you know, 50% more shares or whatever. But we don't know. We can't time the market. And yeah, if you bought in at the highs, you know, if you bought in higher, like I bought some higher, somebody was, it was like a Korean name guy was saying like, whoa, don't forget about the shares you buy. I did buy some. I bought, you know, a few shares at 28. I bought quite a few shares at 25. I bought a hell of a lot of shares at 21. But I still bought like 90% of my shares down, like, you know, 4s, 5s, 6s, some in like 8s. So my average is still really good. And I've made a lot of options income on SoFi as well. So, you know, I love the stock. I love the stock. And probably I'm a degenerate, hopeless gambler, like lows, losses, misery. That's actually kind of fun for me in a sick way. I mean, I don't want to lose, guys. I want to win, but it just doesn't bother me. It's like these bad beats are like the spice of life. Without the lows, you can't feel the highs. I believe it was Kyle Broflovsky who said that when he was trying to break up with the goth kids. For me, premium of the option, I can only hold SoFi accountable for what's under their control, which is not price action. I can hold them accountable for their fundamentals, for the performance. I know there's still some overhang in terms of the money raise. People want to know, where is that capital going? And that's a fair question. But for me, Anthony Noto, Chris LaPointe, the entire management team, they've earned the right for me not to question that they know how to deploy that capital. They've earned that right. Some fat idiot U-turder with a receding hairline, a bunch of crappy jokes, tiny wing audience. I don't only have a tiny audience, I got a tiny wing audience. Terrible twos. T squared. Mr. T. Pitiful. I hate these freaking stupid rumors. You know, oh, OpenAI is the customer. OpenAI can't pay. Bullpucky. Everybody's throwing money at OpenAI just because Jensen pulled back the 100 billion, held it out, and he pulled it back. He's just tickling the bulls. I'm gonna tickle Sam Altman's bulls for a while. Jensen sounds like an Italian guy. I bet you didn't know that. He looks Asian, but he's actually Italian. I'm gonna go over here and just tickle Sam Altman's balls, and then I'm gonna pull back the money. It's gonna be hilarious. Make a sandwich. I love that sandwich guy on YouTube. I watch so much pointless YouTube. My favorite and my first love will always be the First Amendment audit community. I don't know why they go to like these libraries and like municipal offices. These ladies are just shell shocked. I don't think they're necessarily trying to violate your First Amendment rights. It's just like some bookkeeper somewhere, like the water department or the parks department. Long Island audit. Sean Paul Reyes. It's just like crazy goatee, facial hair coming at you, like big constitution, some big lunky Italian guy or whatever he is. I'd be terrified if he came into my office. What are you trying to hide, sir? What are you trying to hide? I'm like, nothing. I'm just doing paperwork. Name a badge number. I'm like, I'm a bookkeeper. I don't have a badge. Just work in this office, dude. Trying to eat a sandwich. A sandwich. No, like, you know, I love the First Amendment audit community. First Amendment strike team. It's bad tattoos. But it makes sense. A lot of the auditors have had a lot of sort of negative contacts with law enforcement. A lot of trailer park community types. Oh, you're one of those guys. And again, my favorite guy is Jeff Gray. Guy who holds the Pray for the Homeless Veterans sign. It just makes everybody angry. Sean Vaughn, the great Sean Vaughn. Call him the Tiny Wang Torpedo due to his very aerodynamic head. I'm telling you, the season of Industry on HBO is about SoFi. The main plot is turning a porn payment processor into a one-stop shop finance institution. It's already valued at 3x. I was reading they're on like in talks to sell OnlyFans to some hedge fund or something. The numbers I was reading, I can't remember it, but it was huge numbers. Huge numbers. Bought SoFi at 1026. Excellent job. Clap my dog. Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, guys. It is, of course, soon Poco Moss. They do call me cornbread because I'm moist and I crumble under pressure. They call me the tugboat because I'm short and stature, pull more than my weight, and I'm really far from my own port. They call me Stubbico because I mangled my penis with a Vitamix trying to manscape. They call me DJ Patchy Drizzle. They call me MC Al Dente. They do call me by my Christian name, occasionally Tabasco Rojas. Anyway, call me Hurricane Lopez. Call me Stock Karen. Call me Danny Deals. They call me the Chunky Stock Monkey. They call me Memphis Fats. They call me Double D's. Heavy D. One guy gives me all the fat nicknames. A real asshole. Every time he sees me, he has a new nickname for me based upon my weight issues. Usually 2 or 3. He also likes to cast aspersions on my sexuality. I can see that because I am extremely gay friendly. Not confirmed gay, but very gay friendly, and I do like to party. Oh boy. Pray for the homeless veterans indeed. Clapman is like, I'm not homeless myself. I have a house. Like, I'm not taking any money. But if I was taking money, if I was soliciting, that would be free speech. And he's absolutely right, according to case law. You cannot criminalize someone saying, hey, can you help me? That should not be criminal. Muffin Cemetery. Buy more SoFi. I agree. SoFi is going to go back up, but try and SoFi between 6 and Devin. I was buying between 4 and 30. Okay. I didn't buy any shares over 30. I don't think. I might have just in a rage fit. Let me just buy into that rage fit. How dare you drop my stock after earnings? I'll show you. I'll buy 3 shares. Oh. And B. Aunt B had a strange falsetto. No, Andy. That house coat is too expensive. I won't hear of it. You had to trade the owner of your store for your favorite fishing rod. Was that guy in the Andy Griffith show owned the store? He's a real bastard. That old guy. I can't remember. I like Floyd the Barber. You seen that bit on SCTV where it's like Floyd the Barber needs a hitman? He's like, someday I may need a favor from you. Perhaps a haircut or a trim. Perhaps to lay down your life for me. Well, they didn't really break my barber pole. Maybe they just, bent it a little bit. Trying to get Don Corleone to kill some enemies. Doesn't like the bargain. Yeah, I really think it will do well as energy prices go up. Is that prop? Oh no, Enphase went absolutely crazy today. Enphase went nuts today, didn't it? Wasn't it one of the? I think it was one of. Yeah, Enphase up 40% today. My goodness. Iran getting absolutely crushed. PayPal still bleeding. Carvana shitting the bed. Bitminer is just painful. This Ethereum drop. I mean, this is concentration risk personified. I mean, if your whole company is just about betting that Ethereum will go up and Ethereum crashes through the floor, Ross Gerber said, big touchdown. Tom Lee might have made the worst trade of all time. This treasury play. Because they have like 50% of their entire investment is like a paper loss, something crazy like that. They put in 16 billion into Ethereum and now it's worth like 9 or something. Just basically incinerating people's money. Canadian money. Young money. Don't chase, guys. Never chase. Never chase. I'd rather see you bottom feed, try to find the lows than chase. But I don't know. Tevis was thinking the bottom might be in, but nope. Nope. It's a good video. I mean, Tevis does great Bitminer videos. He, a more intelligent, affable gentleman you couldn't find than Tevis, but you just, if you're buying the hell out of this thing at 60, you're in big trouble. And with 2/3 of your money up in smoke, you're probably thinking about selling. Mastercraft is up nicely, the boat manufacturer. I told you guys to buy that turd a few days ago. Well, I didn't really tell you to buy it. I just said it was the top of my 10 weird stocks that aren't AI that I'm looking at. I don't even barely own it. I might own like a couple shares. Put out a feeler. What do you guys think about CoreWeave getting absolutely shit on? My Tevis ETF is rough right now. Broadcom could be coming into a buy zone. Silver probably is going to start going back up soon, but I don't know. What do you guys think? What are you guys buying? What are you doing? What do you say? What do you know? Buy SoFi. I like it, Don Box. I like where your head's at, buddy. Dude, ass face. Look, as long as you don't realize the loss, you were just right early. Let's. I mean, the thing is, guys, if you believe SoFi is going to go to 50, if you believe it's going to go into the 40s after S&P 500, if you're like me and you think the stock is ultimately going to be $100 stock, and I don't think it's going to take as long as people think. It's not going to take decades. This is a monster. They got a rocket in their pocket. They got a bee in their bonnet. They got an itch in their foot. Not the worst when your foot itches. You're like, how you can't take off your like shoes and socks, scratch your foot. If you're a fat guy, you're gonna have a lot of foot itch issues. Consulted Al Bundy. Like, sir, get that ham out of my shoe. I once met Ed O'Neill, super nice guy, decades ago. Santa Monica, border of Santa Monica, Westwood, little bar. Came in, I think he was doing some kind of like martial arts, had a big posse with him. Working that perfect Ed O'Neill receding hairline. I know you guys are big fans of the film Dutch. Kind of his main foray into feature films. Dutch. Not a bad movie. Not a bad movie. I prefer Over the Top. Robert Loggia. He's mine. He's mine. The boy's mine. He's a great evil guy. Tony. Like, he's trying to like pull some shady shit against some of America's best leading men, whether it be Al Pacino, Sly Stallone, any of the above. Anyway, should you buy a Bitminer here? I don't know. It's worth a swing. I bought some like 28. I don't have much, but yeah, I'd buy a little bit more here. I might just buy Ethereum. I don't know if I trust that Tom Lee fun strat in my nutsack. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? If you are going to trust him, wear a cup. I think you're going to need to protect your huevos rancheros. Daniel went. That's funny. Yeah, eat a half smoked cigar on here. Bull Hurley, making a Bull Hurley reference. I wish I was in that kind of shape. I'm striving to get an egg-shaped dad bod. My body type right now is Grimace. Not the facial expression, but the McDonald's character. My body's just like Grimace. Look like a big dot, you know, like a Dots candy. Like a melted Hershey's Kiss. He's melting. No, son, that's just gravity and fat. Flabalanche. Oh my god. Anyway, there was really no point to this whole video except buy SoFi, buy SMCI. I would throw in buy CRISPR, buy Microsoft, buy Prop. I would hold IOVA right now. I would buy 10X, definitely. Got that little bit of pullback you're looking for. I think there's more pain with AMD, to be honest with you. I think financial education Jeremy, though he's worth $40 million plus, I don't know how, but I mean, I guess he's brilliant, but I just buy AMD hand over fist, the man's saying, I guess. I don't see it. The multiple's too rich. The AI growth isn't there yet. I mean, you got to see it. Can't just promise the growth. I mean, what are people paying for Intel and AMD and all this stuff? They're going to be power players in AI. Who knows? I mean, Google's nipping at their heels, making their own inference chips or whatever. I could draw an inference. Perhaps they can hire me to run an AI data center. I could draw an interesting inference. Just give me minimal information. I can give you your whole life story. I can tell you your whole life story from your avatar. I'm bearish all space stocks, sell the premium. Jeremy's only worth 30 million premium. Hey, that's still pretty good, man. It's a young dude. Yeah, it's worth more than me, that's for sure. Maybe. No, definitely. I'm not in that tax bracket. Noto diluted 17% in the past 90 days. I wonder how much no, he didn't dilute 17% in the last 90 days. was an offering was like 4%. The other offering was way before 90 days ago. What are you talking, stock-based compensation or our family? Our house in the middle of our street. Our house was a castle and a keep. I don't know all those words. Fine times, high times. Anyway, sounds like a bunch of British people basically getting high in a house. Pretty much what that song was about. And this lady coming at us. Well, I don't want to start any blasphemous rumors, but I think SMCI is going to get stiffed on their processes by OpenAI. It's just a bunch of bullshit I made up, heard online, bunch of crap. I'm not a singer, guys. Walmart, you like Walmart, J. What's going on? Time to sell Palantir. Anything under... I'm telling you to sell Palantir for a long time. I was begging you guys to sell Hood at 150 right at the top. I begged you. I begged you. Sell that dog shit now, because if crypto continues to collapse, Robinhood's traders are in big trouble. A lot of those big broke ballers are on margin. I would guess SoFi is a much higher quality customer. That's just my theory. I'd rather invest in SoFi's savers and Robinhood's traders any day of the week. I'd take a tiny wing over a lot of flash, sequin jacket, chest hair, all oiled up. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Just gonna read my Men's Health at lunch. Like to look at just some huge bulge and a candy cane pink and lavender spandex ensemble. Where do you get that type of siglet? A bulge defying siglet. You know, I thought it was going to hold just below 25, so I have no credibility. You're out of your element, Donnie. You're like a child who comes in the middle of the movie. I was bowling. Walter. Anyway, guys, I've seen Big Lebowski a few too many times. I think it's a great investment here, but I can't tell you that it won't drop more. Could go to 14. That's the next support I see. I don't think it will, but I didn't think it would go to 20. But I'm a big fat douche, so this is my cousin Fat Douche. It's my boy. Anyway. What's Slay the Day got going on? I would not sell Palantir at this price. I know it's overvalued. They have massive margins and a lot of cash and no debt, and every quarter for 2 years has been increasing. That's a very valid point. I mean, Slay the Day is telling you, hey, that multiple might seem rich right now, but if you kind of are able to read the tea leaves, they're kicking ass so much every single quarter. You know, the growth. I would make that same argument with SoFi, that the valuation is way, way, way too low right now. I thought pushing through 32 was appropriate last ER. This ER falling off a cliff from 25 is, you know, fucking ridiculous. Oh, work. I got to do some work, guys. I've been on here for 48 minutes already. So stupid. This show's so stupid. I hate this show. Probably one of the worst shows on YouTube. Oh, you guys hate 30-minute meals with Rachel Ray. I hated that show because I cook. I've been not a chef, but a, you know, professional cook. I didn't go to culinary school or anything, but I've cooked everything in all types of restaurants, you know, on the line, on the grill, saute, sachet, cover girl. You name it, I've cooked it. No sushi, you know, never cooked like Chinese food, but Italian, continental, basically. When people say I cook everything, they basically mean Italian, continental. Steaks, chops. I hate cooking chicken breasts because they're always dry. Even if they're, you know, to be honest with you, as a grill man in a restaurant, even if you brine that chicken breast, even if you slather it in a bunch of sauce, a boneless, skinless chicken breast that's been frozen from Cisco, it's going to taste like shit. It's just my 2 cents. Thank you, Sean Vaughn. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is the worst show online. I completely agree with you. That I feel I can make it even worse. I feel I can bring the humor down. I feel I can bring the analysis to a lower level. I think I can make even worse stock picks somehow, if that's even possible. Thanks, Jay Scofi. Appreciate it, bro. Or lady. Sounds like a name a guy would make up. JS Coffee. John Coffee. Sounds like the drink, only it's spelled different. I wish I had a John Coffee to suck the fat flies out of me. We got a fat kid over here, been fat his whole life. Take my hand, boss. I'm like, John, but you're gonna be super fat after this. It's like, yes, but I'm sensible. I can eat a healthy diet, work out, get back in shape quite easily. Clearly, you've been struggling for 50 years, so let me take that burden from you, you big fat fuck. I mean, balls. I mean, balls. Thank you, John. Thank you. Thanks, man. Yeah, no, that's what I said. I'm a comedian, not a stock picker. And every time people are saying, well, why don't you charge something? Why don't you monetize? Why don't you do a members area? Because my opinion is just one idiot rambling. And I've made some great picks over the years. I got into Microsoft in the mid 90s. I got into Tesla about 2016. I've got lucky more than once. I'm not saying, I don't know nothing. I've had a lot of losers, guys. A lot of losers. Probably more penny stocks go bankrupt than years on my birthday cake, candles on my birthday cake. Excuse me. Almost mixed me metaphors like a smoothie, like a verbal smoothie. Let's see. Would someone suggest drinking tap? Thank you, dude. Ass face. Appreciate that. Actually, thank you to the lovely, amazing Princess J. I actually have sparkling water. It's amazing how hard it is to take care of like a stubborn, idiotic fat guy. Imagine Peter Griffin with less impulse control. It's kind of how I'm rolling. Princess J just has to carry around like, apology cards, a thing of band-aids, first aid kit, trank gun. Is that your husband over there laying face down on the side? Yeah, I had to tranquilize him. It's totally out of control, talking about stocks, just absolutely spiraling. Added a little SoFi over the last 2 days, added a few prop as well. Well, Peter, pumpkin eater. So nice. Named him twice. I like it. I love prop right now and I love SoFi. So I endorse those moves. Also more on the hat greetings from Germany. A little bit frustrated, but I believe in Neo. Yeah, I mean, I think all of us Neo shareholders are frustrated. I still have my Neo position isn't as big as it was. I mean, just because the price has come down, I didn't sell my shares, but still have a lot of shares. I still believe in the company, but boy, the waiting is the hardest part. It's the late great Tom Petty said. Just take it on faith, take it to the heart that eventually one of these piece of shit partner companies is going to build a goddamn partner car and release me from my status quo of misery and tiny wing drudgery and skullduggery and thuggery. Anyway, guys, this show's terrible. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And on that note, yeah, prop I think is just a real sleeper. If there is that much dilution, maybe buy after. But I think when you see where production is, I think it's going to be hard to keep the price down. There's a lot of short interest on that stock. And I think management is doing a far better. I think everybody thought management was just going to crumble like old cornbread, like old Danny Cornbread DiCarlo. Call me cornbread, guys, because I'm moist, I'm doughy, and I crumble under pressure. And I also like honey butter. You wouldn't know it by my grimace body type, but I love honey butter. Oh, I'm also a fan of fried chicken. I like a good meatball sub, Philly cheesesteak. I love a Philly cheesesteak. All you can eat sushi, all you can eat Korean barbecue. I'm there. Fogo de chao. That's a fat kid's Disneyland. Fogo de chao. Hey, we're going to give you all these breads and buckets of mashed potatoes. F you. You're trying to fool me because I'm fat and you know I'll eat a lot. Give me some big bucket of buttery. I ate the potatoes, honey. I'm stupid. Like they think they're going to get me and I'm not going to eat like 60 servings of meat anyway. Picanha, sir? What do you think? Stop with the accent. I know you were born in Gardena. You're not from Brazil. You're Mexican, dude. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love Mexicans, but stop trying to put on some weird accent. You're not even Mexican. You're American, of Mexican descent. Hello, welcome to Fogajao. What is that accent? Sound like, fucking the accent in Scarface. It's terrible. Are you supposed to be Cuban, Tony? I don't understand what you're saying. It's so muddled, like you're tan, the bronzer, Tony. Don't make no sense. Anyway. Oh, no, I don't like the free bread. I'm just saying they see me coming. The fat kid coming in hot. They know I'm going to fill up on those starches because they keep me waiting for a little while. And they know I'm inept at the salad bar, just trying to take the shrimp salad and stuff, incapable of building like a reasonable, pre-dinner salad. Yeah, the pou de quajo. I'm not sure what that is, but everything there is really good. Love me some fogo de chao. Fogo de chao. I like also saying fogo de chao. Just couldn't tell. Anyway, SoFi trying to come back up a little, pushing up off 20. SMCI up 14%, Microsoft up 1%, PayPal down 2%, Carvana, Bitminer, IREN, CoreWeave, Bitcoin, CRISPR, shitting the bed, Broadcom pulling back, chips, AI, software, nowhere, Tiny Wing All Stars. Anyway, guys, that's enough of a ramble. It's been almost an hour. I do apologize if you listen to the whole show, but that's what you get for having no responsibilities at work. Should have stayed in school. She got that management certificate from DeVry. Anyway, try as you might. You're never going to get past that ineffectual middle management suck up role. And it's perfect for you because you're an idiot with a tiny wing and you're able to hide there. Bill Lumberg might come around and give you another copy of that memo, but that's should be about the worst of it. Otherwise, just collect your paycheck and try not to get noticed. That's my strategy. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry the show was so bad, Devin. It's a total piece of shit. Yeah, that cheese bread is so fucking good. Bajo. Dude, the other Brazilian barbecues I go to where you go, you load up the fajados. I don't know how to really say anything. I'm convinced most like Cuban and Puerto Rican foods are made up by the chefs on, Guy's Big Bite or whatever. Diners, drives-in. This is fajados. I'm like, okay. You take potato starch, ground it down. This is the sassoon. We put in everything. I'm like, all right, fuck. I don't know what you're talking about, but sounds real. And then Guy Fieri has to pretend like he knows what they're talking about. What's that story, Guy Fieri? They like stole a truckload full of his liquor or something. Crazy what goes on. It's kind of electronic hijacking situation. Diners, drive-ins, and dives. I don't know. Something about that guy. Donkey sauce. Guy's New American, whatever. Place is low-grade vomit. Cuba black bean dip. Oh, yes. Yes. Product management amateur. Hey, product management. Step above administrative assistant. I'm an associate, I'll have you know. So am I. Pushing back down on SoFi, pushing back up on SMCI, pushing down Microsoft. Oh, should have had a bigger wing, guys.